I think we found the answer.
Make everything the same card.
More roaches.
Yeah, more roach, yeah.
How many roaches?
Yes.
More
More.
roaches.
Well, when you think about rhinoceros,
All
what other
of
kind
them.
of roaches are there? Are there like pterodactyl roaches? Are
Pterodactyl
there like
roaches.
alligator roaches?
Flying.
Flying roaches, yeah.
Yeah. It can go over the head of walls.
Ostrich roaches.
Ostrich roaches?
There could be an infinite number of them.
Ambush roach. Alright, enough roaches. No roaches in this match. Shadow versus Blood. And I think Hacterox did really well with his deck. How does this line up against Blood? Obviously, Kali's a big showstopper, but can't even make it to 7 play points. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I don't know how Botalz' deck performs against anything. It's quite literally the most wild card of decks I've seen on the entire day. So
Right.
it can be good against an aggressive deck. I don't know if it's going to fare very well against Nep unless it can get an early aggro Vengeance draw.
Right.
Which it's not looking like the case yet, but obviously he still has time to find Belphegor into Dark Generals and stuff like that. It's realistically just, can he do it fast enough?
Like Botalz is playing like a mid-range Vengeance
Control
Bloody
Bloody Mary
thing.
combo.
Right, yeah. You can almost call it Botalz Blood because it's not a,
Right,
it's not a deck.
it's a Botalz Blood.
It's just Botalz.
And
It's
Botalz
cards.
is known for making crazy decks, and I will be the first to say that even though his decks might look a little crazy, every once in a while, and not every once in a while, most of the time they actually work pretty well.
Every once in a while, and most of the time being drastically different. So
That's right, drastically different. I would say most of the time we play, because we do them on Deck Doctors on our own segments,
Right.
and when we play his decks, we're like, what the crap is this?
this actually works.
Yeah, but then we play it, and it works. He
One
built
Deathly
a
Tyrant
Corpse Lord of
Bottles,
Woe
come
deck
on.
for us once,
Oh, yeah?
and it just worked, and it felt really good. But against NEP Shadow's got this big brick wall late in the game that if it builds up, I don't know if this version of Blood can actually take it down. There's no Temptresses, no Bahamut's, no like anything crazy for the end game. No
And just in
Odins.
general, just Nephthys against anything, you know, that doesn't have that amazing end game.
Right.
Like Nephthys can stall you very hard.
Right. Like if you don't have a very aggro early game or an end game that can get around Mordecai, there's
Exactly. Mordecai, even Cowie. Cowie's a huge deal. So
absolutely. Okay, so Botalz did draw into the Belphegor, and he does have access to Dark Airjammer and Razor Claw and Dark General. So definitely has an aggressive draw if he wants to play it. Is it going to be fast enough, though?
right, he is getting there. I mean, unfortunately for Hacterox, he does have Death Breath available next turn, but he has no shadows. So
now this Diabolic, or this Dire Bond rather, is kind of like ruining Botalz' draws half the time. I noticed in this game and in the last game we played, he put himself down to 10 with Belphegor, and like the Dire Bond just puts him right out of Vengeance again.
right.
Which kind of bricks his draws.
Ooh, Hacterox drawing another one of his deck's Cowies, which takes it away as an option for Nephthys. You can't pull from your hand.
And
Milling up Spiderweb.
very important. Hell's Unleashers getting pulled out of the deck before Nephthys means that
Also, yes.
yes, very good for Nephthys.
Because it only plays 2.
Right.
So Nephthys can't pull those anymore.
So all of that randomness that I was talking about has now been pulled out of the deck. And now his turn's tough. Like Dark Airjammer would have been an insanely good play here, but the Dire Bond just healing him.
Hacterox taking down some soup. Wonder what kind of soup he's got. But, you know. Might even be cereal, actually.
Blood soup.
Could be cereal. Blood soup.
Could
Ew.
be blood soup. Could be eating blood soup. Hey,
what
blood soup's a
what
delicacy.
face in the chat?
Okay.
What face in the chat? Blood soup.
Oh, yeah.
Probably could be cereal, actually. I think cereal's more likely.
Cereal's probably more likely.
Botalz.
Gamer, cereal.
Yeah, it's cereal.
Easy.
It's cereal.
Yeah. Unless he's still one of those guys who likes the Campbell soup. You know, like chicken noodle or something like that.
Chicken noodle soup's so
That's
good, though.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
It's full of salt, but it's so good.
So good. That's
But
what's
it's so
good
good.
about it.
Blood
It's literally
Moon for
liquid
Botalz.
with salt.
It is, yes. Blood Moon Mask for Botalz, playing Amulet Blood.
Yeah.
He's just filling the blood with amulets.
So we talked about all the different forms of blood this is. We didn't cover amulet blood.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Which he is playing a lot of. He's playing a lot of amulets.
He is. Maybe even the max number of amulets that you can be playing in blood.
Hacterox's reverse is just to fill the board with stuff. I mean,
Yep. So 2 Kawi's in hand and no Nephthys means that there will only be 1 Kawi left for a Nephthys play, if that's ever important.
she's also guaranteed to pull Mort at this point, though.
Right.
So.
Mort is guaranteed.
Double Blood Wolf.
Okay. Here's a chance to be aggressive right now.
Oh my gosh.
Has to take it.
Go face for 6. Pretty good.
and has a Dark General plus Razor Claw with an Evo point that could mean 9 complete damage to face. But a Kawi's going to come down this turn more than likely.
Yeah, Kawi and double Death's Breath. Even double Kawi.
Yep.
Like, his hand is just really good for this.
Now, he's got to be careful, of course, because Botalz' deck can play like a Control Blood deck and take over back a board with a Revelation or something like that. The hardest thing for me to figure out, and I was trying to figure this out last game too, is just how Botalz can really push for lethal. Like, I understand he's got Blood Wolves and Dark Generals and stuff, but he doesn't have all of the early aggression that you normally see. He doesn't even have Succubuses to get an extra couple damage in there.
Well, I mean, he's got Blood Wolves. Those are pretty early aggression.
That's what I mean. But, like, beyond Blood Wolves and Dark General, like, maybe some Emeraldas, there's not really anything else that does a ton of damage.
Right. Well, I mean, that's just Control Blood in general. Like, ending the game on Control Blood in general is kind of hard, so.
But he's also not got the Temptress Vampires, you know what I mean? Like,
True.
he's got the middle part of it, but not the early or the late part.
Okay, so Hacterox opting to Death's Breath and evolve one of the wards. The 1/1 Hell's Unleashed are obviously going to kill the... Never mind. Not obviously. Obviously to me, but not anybody else, apparently.
Nope. Wants to be aggressive.
Hungering Horde is such a good card.
Yes, Hungering Horde definitely will allow Botalz to push a ton of damage this turn, which is great.
I mean, really, he's at 1 now, so... Razor Claw is just lethal next turn.
Almost there. So it really depends on how this Kawi is played.
I mean, that's such a risky thing to do for Hacterox. He almost had the game, honestly.
It's true.
He almost had the game. If he just slapped down Kawi, he was fine.
I don't understand why the Death's Breath was played over Kawi, especially when you know your opponent is playing Hungering Horde.
Yeah, that's just game, dude. Like, there's no access to banishment in the deck at all.
Yeah,
why would
he
you
doesn't
play
even
that?
have to attack. Razor Claw to the face is it.
Hacterox, I feel like he had that and just kind of Botalz trolling. Botalz
doing
trolling.
the troll thing. You know what? He won with this deck. I'll give it to him.
Botalz, you trolling.
Gives him the emote. I like it.
Hacterox, man,
I don't know why you don't play the Kawi in that situation.
You have to be aware of Hungering Horde as a card.
Plus,
like,
you can see the deck list.
Yeah,
you know
can see
it's there.
deck list. You know it's a card. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting choice. Botalz capitalizing on a mistake.
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody who maybe like Hacterox doesn't know what Hungering Horde does is Hungering Horde does 3 damage to an enemy follower for 2 play points. If they have something on the board with the same name, those all take the same damage.
Right.
So Death's Breath spawns 3 zombies who all have the same name.
Yes, zombie.
Yes, zombie is their name. They're all known as zombie.
That's right. It's been a known fact for a while that Death's Breath is very good, but Hungering Horde is a nice little counter to it, and it's very cheap. So you got to be careful of that when you're playing Shadow into Blood.
And it's unfortunate for Hacterox, mostly because he had Kawi anyway.
He had the Kawis.
He could have just played Kawi.
Yeah. All right, going to this next game, Botalz is going to show us what's up with his version of D-Shift, and he's only got 1 Flame Destroyer and 3 Chimeras in this deck. So that's his little flavor of it.
Chimera is just, I refuse to believe this card is better than anything else you could have put.
Gets the 1 Flame Destroyer anyway.
I refuse to believe Chimera is any better than Fighter.
Well, it definitely does something different in the deck.
Refuse.
It's just interesting today. Like, I've never seen Chimeras in D-Shift at all, and then all of a sudden 3 players playing different versions with different numbers of Chimeras. And
they went to Camp Sazone, dude.
I don't know what, like, EU had a powwow, NA had a powwow, and they were completely different powwows.
I wasn't invited to either.
I wasn't invited
like,
either.
I don't know what that's about. Like,
maybe I'm glad I wasn't invited either. Maybe I would have drank the Kool-Aid too, you know what I mean? And
man,
just, like,
Chimera's so good!
But we'll see. So I would imagine that D-Shift still has an edge in this matchup because,
probably, yes.
Of course, you know, Mordecai endgame is super late. And there's not really
However, there is,
draws.
you know, the whole thing, Shadow has to play followers. So Shadow has to make it where you can spell boost their cards.
That's true.
And it's not about Mordecai as much as Kawi and Death's Breath.
Right.
And
if
trying to
turns.
you know, trying to destroy her through Kawi is impossible.
Right.
Because it kills Destroyer.
Right. So basically what Envy's talking about is on around turns 7 through 9, when you think, if you've been counting what your opponent's been doing, they can go off with D-Shift, you play your wards, your Death's Breath, or your Kawi just to prevent them from going in with their destroyers.
Here we go.
See a Merlin alternate art looking great. Probably attacking the Lich this turn, I imagine.
Might opt for the value trade.
It does. That Lich could now do 6 face though.
So basically giving Hacterox an opportunity to get some extra damage in. Might even play the other Death's Ledger here just to get some more value going.
You gotta get Merlin off the board.
That's true.
And it was odd that he chose not to kill the Lich there when there's a Lich engine on the board.
Right.
Like he's gonna get another one of those. So
My time has come.
Zombie Party plus Carrot, more than likely. And yeah, evoing the 4/4 here is nice. Can't be Kaleidoscopic Load. Honestly speaking, is there any answer in hand?
there's a Wind Blast, 2.
There's a Wind Blast at 2, and there are Golems that he can play to evo. So there are answers. But another 4/4 coming.
But a second one, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Hacterox going to town on that, on whatever he's got.
Yep.
He's still eating it.
Going wide and very large toughness against D-Shift is exactly what you want to be
Yes,
doing. They
of
can
course.
normally only deal with a few things.
12 health on board with no Fiery Embraces in hand.
Yep.
Being boosted is a big deal.
Even overdrawing a Fiery Embrace, so that's
Yeah,
not even a
that was
possibility.
a bad thing, yeah.
Yep. So Botalz figuring out how he needs to deal with this board. We know that he does need to deal with it. Now
Starts by bouncing the Carrot, putting Wind Blast at 3. 4.
Can't even play the Wind Blast now.
Can't even play it now, so I'm going to stop counting it. But this is another setup for 6 face damage.
This is.
I'll live again.
So while we said a bad matchup, I mean, if you can get a big follower going and it just isn't being able to dealt with, or isn't able to be
Another
dealt
Zombie
with.
Party even. Zombie Party Death Sledger go face for 6 again is going to be
this.
incredible. Like,
Yep.
Botalz is in trouble. He's sweating. I feel it.
Feast upon me.
And this is actually the power of having those extra Lich generators in the deck.
Exactly.
You get to pull them out. Like, so if you get the Death Ledger draw, you can just keep playing them and playing them and playing them.
Now, he can't clear this turn, though, because that Wind Blast is now at 6. And he drew a new one. Drew a fresh one. It's good.
I'll live again.
You can evolve this one. Or this Clay Golem, sorry, not this Wind Blast, because it sounded like I said Wind Blast, but...
And now he does have more removal options. Just do into a Fiery Embrace.
And that other Wind Blast is now at 4, so he has answers to Liches.
Yep. So now Botalz might have been in hot water, but again, we know that just like a lot of these control decks, Hacterox doesn't have a way to just force the damage through. He's got to play very straightforward.
He does.
Judgment for heretics like you.
Slaps down a Cowie that could,
Gonna mess with me.
I believe mostly to protect a 4/4.
probably protect
Yeah.
the Lich, yeah.
And we don't see a D-Shift in Botalz' hand anywhere. Has yet to have drawn one. So
Yeah.
he's definitely not going into his late game anytime soon, which
We've
is
been
scary.
worried about Botalz just surviving this whole time,
Right.
and it doesn't matter, because
Right.
he doesn't have a win condition.
Right. Doesn't even have one of the Chimeras.
Yep, doesn't even have that. Doesn't even have a Chimera.
Doesn't have any of that. So he might have to just do the Golem Assault thing and see if it can be good enough for a little while.
Which it won't.
It won't for
because
right
it
now.
actually passes the turn. If he enhances it, it passes the turn.
I don't mean this turn, I just mean in general.
Oh,
just being able to play a game with 3/3 wards.
Right.
Yeah, he'll be able to deal with this in an okay way without letting anything too bad happen.
I wonder, is he opting to Wind Blast this Cowie, going out of his way to prevent the heal for 0?
Right. It's a little odd.
Okay, Wind Blast on the Lich. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. Finds D-Shift.
There it is.
Cowie also doesn't evolve for lethal here. It doesn't. No, Cowie does evolve for lethal.
Cowie does
It evolves
for
into a
lethal.
6/7. Yeah.
He has to do. He
That's
has to
actually-
deal with this.
Yeah.
But he's got the Fiery Embrace. Oh, the Fiery Embrace is only
It's-
at 1. He couldn't
yeah, it's
spell
not-
boost it enough.
it's not- yeah.
That was that.
It's not castable. So Botalz kind of lost himself
Or
there.
maybe it was at 4. I couldn't even see it. It was too small. I thought
It's
the
at
Fiery
1.
Embrace was his option.
It's a 1.
Okay.
You can see it right now. He lost himself.
Yeah. Just decided to allow that extra 6 damage once, which then allowed 6 damage again.
Yes,
and then
again.
just kind of snowballed out of control from there. D-Shift a very hard deck to play, even when you're a top tier player. You
And
know?
sometimes it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It just loses to itself.
Right.
So
Even had he dealt with that, like you said, just there were no D-Shifts in hand. There was nothing to kind of fall back on.
D-Shift now against Haven
This has got to be a tough matchup.
for both. Yes.
Judgment will rain down upon
What a hand.
Now this is really going to come down to, can Botalz draw some early game? Oh, here we go.
Got a Chimera, but
We're
look at
gonna see.
Hacterox. Look at Hacterox.
Hacterox has a great hand. Kaleidoscopic Glow is very important in this matchup, especially
is.
against Beast Call Arias
Yes.
and pumped up things.
Oh my.
He's got a very aggressive draw.
He's feeling hungry.
And he has to play these. He has to play these cards too.
I
so.
really want to see Chimera be good this game. He's got it in his opening hand. He has to expect that this is something. Right?
Whoa! Botalz actually opting to glow a goblin.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I don't like that at all. He's going to regret that right now.
That's one glow down. Hacterox knows he's cycling through his deck. Of course, he'll find another one, but he probably won't in time. Another Chimera, brick draw right there.
I don't think so. I think in the my
Another
goodness.
one.
Okay, I think in this matchup, you go crazy on turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, right? You spell boost enough, and you're just like, I counter you with all of my Chimeras, and then I'm the Haven player.
I mean, if you play 3 in one turn.
Yeah. You go crazy. That's what I'm saying.
If you can do that, if you can play 3 in one turn.
He's doing it. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do it exactly when he needs to, but he's going to be able to do it. He's got the D shift in hand too.
That is true, but Hacterox characteristically does have Alice on 4. So.
Yes. Not on the play this time. Still Alice.
Another Alice. Even.
And another Alice. Beast Caller is popping next turn. But he doesn't have any of the crazy stuff, right? Like, his draw isn't bad. I mean, the crazy stuff is the Alice with the neutral followers.
Right.
But he doesn't have the Eagle Man, the Lion, or anything to, like, push
right.
after this.
Like, next turn would be too much if Eagle was also coming down.
Right.
But it's not.
Next turn still might be a lot because, like these Chimeras, maybe one of them was okay. I don't know. 3 Chimeras.
Chimera's kind of okay right now. I mean, it kills Alice and then also evolves. Like, whatever, right? Insight being great. He's found all 3 insights this game, so.
And the Destroyer now. So he's got literally every threat and the endgame in his hand now.
Let's play again. Here we go.
I want to see Chimeras take over this game. I want to see it.
I don't know if I even want to see that.
I want to see it so bad.
If I see that now, I might see it on ladder.
Yes.
You have to remember.
Chimera's on ladder.
Anything that does well in tournament will be flooding ladder.
Yeah.
Do you really want that?
Yes.
Ooh, March Hare's draw perfectly can just snipe this little Chimera down. Right out of the sky, but it's not flying, so more.
Yeah.
Snipe it out of the ground.
Right. Off into the air.
Yeah, into the air, yes. Launch it into the air.
There we go.
Long before face damage, nothing to, scoff at.
Nope.
3rd dimension shift, ugh.
Now, Chimeras are at, what, 4 and 5, it looks like?
Yes.
Yeah. So that we'll be able to clear
that's
out
it.
2 of the
Killed,
big followers.
It killed a lion. That's what we said it would do. It killed a tiger.
Yeah. Doing a better Tina impression.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. There's Eagle.
Okay. Eagle's actually a very good setup. Draw still here.
I mean, really though, Alice into Merman is just...
Alice Merman's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But
Could even like Alice Aria toss that bird into the Chimera.
That's
you
true.
know? Your opponent's on 7 next turn, but D-Shift's not playing on a sort cache just to D-Shift me on 7.
No.
So.
No. Especially because he's been taking turns off to play Chimera, which means there's no spell boosting
He's
happening.
Been playing
there's
Chimeras.
No draw cards. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, Hacterox might want to push the advantage here with the Merman Alice play like you were talking about. I really don't mind. Yeah, I mean, if he's playing Alice, then he's definitely playing the Merman, I believe.
Well, I think he might play Aria. Okay, Merman happening. Goblin evolving. Bird evolving.
I like Bird Evolve because getting away things that have 1 toughness against Rune really good. They have Angelic Snipes, Magic Missiles.
Right, yes, Magic Missile, of course.
Takes away some of their options.
Wind Blast.
Wind Blast
also
at
one of
1.
those. Yeah.
Yep. This is
and
tough.
Botalz.
I think this is just it, right?
He's got a Chimera, man.
He's got a Chimera.
Play that Chimera.
Played all 3 of them, possibly.
Even if he could evolve this 3rd Chimera, even if he could play and evolve all 3 Chimeras, what have they done for him?
Right. Chimeras.
Cizzoni's on something. I know it's his fault because he admitted to it.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. He said it. He said in Twitch chat. He made Drzello play the Chimeras.
And now other people are playing it, but in D-Shift. It's a new trend.
Maybe he scrims against them, rigs the game,
and so
draws
Cizzoni's like,
perfectly.
I'm not in it anymore. I'm going to mess NA up. I'm going to mess it up real hard.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell all these D-Shift players that Chimera is the new truth. And watch them fail.
And I mean, even if he could evolve one, he'd still be at 3.
He'd still be dead. Hacterox taking out Botalz.
Poor Botalz.
Wow. That was not a match I was expecting.
Rip Botalz.
There it is. Hacterox moving on. That's going to mean that the last 2 matches of the day, on the winner's side, it's going to be Gengar versus Jay-Z, and on the loser's side, it's going to be Les versus Hacterox. So,